I've played a lot of games over the years, and some of them have surprised me by just how much I enjoyed them. Let's talk about it. Hello there everybody, and welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler, and today we're going to be having ourselves a bit of a chill, more casual, more fun, laid-back conversation, because we're going to be talking about some of the games that I've played over the years that have actually surprised me by just how much I ended up enjoying them. Generally, when I go into games, you always have expectations, and I might have had expected to like a game or really enjoy a game, and sometimes games surpass those expectations, but those aren't the ones that I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the ones where I went into the game thinking either, yeah, who knows how this is gonna go, I'm not quite sure, or I went into it thinking, yeah, I'll like this probably, but ended up like, whoa, like this actually hit way harder than I thought it was going to. Those are the types of games I'm talking about here. Not a game like Ghost of Tsushima that I had high expectations for, and it did surpass those expectations, but it was still a thing of like, I think I'm gonna love this game, and I just ended up loving it a bit more than regular loving it. Not like that. This is where you go into a game, you're like, yeah, this seems like it'll be a fun time, and then you're like, whoa, this was so much better than I ever would have imagined it would be. So those are the types of games I'm talking about here in this video. We're only going to talk about 5 today in this video because I don't want to talk about all of them. We can save some more for another video. Today, we will only be talking about 5 games that managed to blow me away, managed to surprise me with how much I enjoyed them. So, without further ado, let's get right on into this. The first game is actually a more recent one that I played at the beginning of 2025, that being Stellar Blade. This game came out last year, and after it was first announced, I think maybe back in 2021, 2022, I forgot when it was first announced. I thought it looked cool, looked like fun. I was like, we'll see what happens when it comes on out. 2024 comes around, and the whole buzz around the game was like, oh man, super sexy main character. The game got caught up in culture war stuff and everything, unfortunately. Still looked like a fun game though. Didn't get to play it at launch when it first came out because of time. Am I revisiting Kingdom Hearts series? Go watch it if you have not already. But when I was going into this game thinking, this will be fun, it's really heavy on the parrying, which I'm not the best at in games, so we'll see how it goes. Story-wise, I was like, it looks like it's kind of sort of inspired by Nier Automata, but I'm not expecting it to be on the level of a Nier Automata. Who knows how this is gonna go? I'm sure I'll have fun with it one way or another. And I was playing Stellar Blade, and I gotta tell you, from the jump, I was like, whoa, okay, hold on. This game's actually a bit crazier than I thought it was, just in terms of the action and the music and everything. I was like, oh man, it's kind of hitting on a different level. And like I said, I'm not the best at parrying in games, so for a bit near the start of the game, in the opening hours, it took me some time to get adjusted to the combat and get better with the parrying and everything. But as I got better with parrying, as I unlocked new abilities, as I got farther in the game and the story, I was like, yo, actually, this game is a lot of fun. Like, it is so much fun. The story is neither here nor there. I'm an anime fan, so I'm used to experiencing stories and being like, all right, turn your brain off. You're kind of like, we're just along for the ride at a certain point. And that's kind of the route I took with Stellar Blade's story. I was like, hey, yo, popcorn, blockbuster, cool, is what it is, along for the ride. The action gameplay is what genuinely blew me away with this game. Stellar Blade's action is fast, it is furious, but also a bit methodical as well. And it is stylish and eccentric and electric, and it's honestly just a genuine blast to play. I just found myself loving this game more and more and more and more as I played it, where by the time I finished it, like when I first started, I was like, oh yeah, probably it's gonna be like a 7.5, and by the time I finished it, I was like, I'm feeling like a good 8.5 on this game. Not really a 9 out of 10, but an 8.5 is where I would probably have scored it if I was to do a proper review on it, because Stellar Blade is a lot of fun. Did not expect to end up loving that game as much as I did, to the point where if it wasn't for the fact that I have a huge backlog, I would have started up a new game plus right away and gone through it again just to keep on enjoying that combat, because combat in Stellar Blade is a genuine blast. It is so crazy, it's so much fun, and the music is also really good in that game. I have some of the songs downloaded on my phone, especially Hypertube. Oh man, chef's kiss. It is perfect, it is awesome. Genuinely, Stellar Blade blew me away. Was really surprised by just how much I enjoyed that game when I played it earlier this year. The next game I want to spotlight as one that really surprised me is going to be Sayonara Wild Hearts. This game came out back in 2019, I believe is when it came out, and it's interesting because I remember it getting announced at the Game Awards the year prior to it coming out, and seeing the trailer of the Game Awards and thinking, that looks cool, and probably kind of forgetting about it all the way until it released. And when it released, I was like, oh wait, I remember like seeing something for that at the Game Awards. I remember being like really flashy and stylish and everything, colorful and it all. And thinking it looked cool, I was like, I'll pick it up on a whim. Why not? Pick it up, music-based game. I'm sure I'll be into it. Why not? The thing is, I didn't remember anything about it aside from flashy music, cool. And what I was met with was 60 minutes of just pure musical game perfection. Like, Sayonara Wild Hearts is an incredible game. I love music. Love music to death. Whenever I'm outside, I'm always listening to music. And if you are into EDM, pop type music and everything, electronic music, Sayonara Wild Hearts, like it has a stellar, amazing soundtrack, an amazing score. The songs in the game are so freaking good. And I remember when I first played it, from the moment the main menu started up, and I was just like, oh, wait a minute, this is gonna be something special right here. And then started up the game and going through the story, and the way the game fuses the simple gameplay with the songs, with the visuals as well, it all comes together to create this unique gameplay. This just not even gameplay experience, just this unique experience, period. This unique media experience, this fusion of gameplay and visuals and music. It was something transcendent, otherworldly, dare I say. It's a game I love so much. I bought it on Switch originally, and then I bought it on PS5 like almost right after I finished on the Switch, because I was like, I want this on my PS4. It was such an amazing game. I love that game to death. Did not think I was going to fall in love with it as hard as I did when I first booted it up. But man, I'm so happy I bought it. I will always sing the praises of Sayonara Wild Hearts. It is an amazing game. And if it is coming to PS5 sometime soon, like it's rumored to be, I will be purchasing it once again on PS5. Get the trophies, go through it again, because I love that game so much. Absolutely surprised me, shocked me, blew me away with how much I loved that one when it came out. The third game I'm going to spotlight today is going to be Unpacking. If you do not know this game, a little indie game here where you are essentially unpacking your belongings. You're going through the life of this woman from when she's a baby all the way up to at some point in her adulthood, and you are unpacking her belongings in each of the different rooms or the different living spaces that she has throughout her life. And it's a simple, cozy game. I remember seeing the trailer for it, I believe, during either Day of the Devs or Cozy Game stream, I think it was like during COVID when I first saw it. And I was like, that looks really cool. It looks really interesting, really neat. Looks like something unique and fun in its own, cozy, charming way. Did not expect to play the game and be like, oh man, like there's a story that's being told here, and this story it hits hard. Just seeing the changes in the main character's relationships as you go throughout her life, seeing how she feels about herself and her own self-esteem, how that changes as she goes on throughout her life, because of where things have to be placed when you are unpacking the belongings. Because when you play the game, I believe there are two different modes in which you could go about it. One is like a free place, and the other is that everything has to go in a very specific place in each living area. So, like for example, there's one key thing, an item, her diploma, I think from college, her college diploma. In one time of her life, it goes up on the wall, but later on, it has to go like under her bed or in a drawer somewhere. And like things like that, if you pay attention and you key in on it, it's just like, wow, I'm seeing what she's thinking of herself, what she's feeling right now, where she is in life at this current point in time. I was genuinely surprised by how good that game was. I did not expect it to be as affecting and touching as it was, but it is an incredible game. It's an amazing game. It is not even a long one either if you're worried about length. It's a pretty short game, probably no more than like 3 hours or so, if that. It's a fun puzzle game though. It's a nice cozy game. I definitely highly recommend everyone go play it. Not Stellar Blade, Unpacking. That game, I went into it really expecting, having no real bar for what I would expect from it, and coming away from me and like, yo, excellent game here. Love this game so much. So Unpacking, that's another one that really surprised me about how much I enjoyed it. The fourth game that we're going to be talking about today is going to be none other than Persona 5 Royal. Yo, I gotta tell you guys, I played Persona 5 Royal during the pandemic in 2020. I started it in like April, finished it in like December or November, around then. And God, that was an incredible experience. I was well aware of Persona 5 from the moment it first came out in 2017. I knew I was going to love the music in Persona 5 Royal because I had already heard some of the songs from Persona 5 over the years. I had heard Rivers in the Desert. I had heard, the main battle theme. I'm blanking on it because the only one I could think of is Takeover, Persona 5 Royal's main battle theme. But the original battle theme from Persona 5, I had heard that one over the years and really enjoyed it. I think I might have heard Life Will Change, can't remember exactly. And I had also heard the opening song as well from the original Persona 5. Heard all the songs, and I knew that I really liked the music in Persona 5, so I knew I would enjoy it on that level. But what always kept me from playing Persona 5 was the whole time constraint thing, how you have to really manage your time and choose what you're going to do wisely, because if you do one thing, you can't do other things. And I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about that, because when it comes to mechanics like that, it can be overwhelming and not frustrating, but overwhelming and paralyzing to me. So I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. But I said, you know what? Persona 5 Royal is here. I got the pandemic. Let's do this. And I'm so happy I did, because Persona 5 Royal is my second favorite game of all time. It is a 10 out of 10 amazing experience. I cherished every single second of my 100 plus hours with that game throughout 2020. And playing it in 2020 was honestly crazy, considering the whole election storyline we got going on there and how the election went that year. It was just like, hey, please, it gave me so much hope. And that hope ended up kind of sort of being well founded in the real world. Nevertheless though, Persona 5 Royal, I loved that game. The gameplay, the characters, the story, the music, of course, every single thing about it hit on a level that I never would have expected it to. I did not expect Persona 5 Royal to pass Kingdom Hearts 2 as my second favorite game of all time at that point in time in my life, but it did. It managed to. And Kingdom Hearts 2 was the game that had been my number one favorite game of all time until God of War 2018 came out. So for it to get knocked down again to third place just 2 years later, mind-blowing. So Persona 5 Royal, I love that game. Could not believe how much I ended up loving it when I first played it in 2020. And man, it's a game I want to go through again. You know, I just don't have 100 plus hours to dedicate to it right now. But when the time comes, I will do that again. But man, I wish I could have that experience again for the first time all over. Because Persona 5 Royal, that game, man, I can't say enough. It really just blew my mind, blew me away with how much I enjoyed that one. And last but not least, the last one we'll be talking about today is going to be Returnal. Returnal is a game that if you have played it, you understand exactly why I'm sitting here singing this game's praises. I'm not really a roguelike type of person. I'm not one, it's a bit too high stakes, high pressure for me. I'm not really a fan of the genre. But for some reason, in the lead up to Returnal coming out, and I mean literally the lead up to it, like the month before it came out actually, something made me think, you know what? Give it a shot. Go ahead and try it. You never know. You might actually enjoy it. You might have a good time with it. And it came on out, and I loved Returnal. It is still to this day one of the best PlayStation 5 first-party games on the platform, point blank, period. It is an excellent game. I finished it and literally that weekend. This was before you were able to save state your game or do like a temporary pause for your run. It was like, no, like if you wanted to pause your run, you had to put the system in rest mode. And I beat the game. I think I only had 3 deaths, including the mandatory first one that you kind of can't skip. I only had 3 deaths, and I finished it in like 10 hours. I loved Returnal. I was so shocked by how much I loved it because, again, I'm not really a fan of the roguelike genre, but the story, the mystery behind the story was so intriguing and compelling. The world design was so ominous and what's the word? I'm blanking on the name. Gosh, there's a certain name, I'm blanking on it right now. But the world design was just so fascinating and creepy and ominous and horrifying, terrifying. But I loved it so much. The gameplay, the combat, it was so addicting and action-packed and intense. It was just simply put a blast to play through, start to finish. Did not know where the story was going to go. I loved the upgrade mechanics. I loved the roguelike elements that you had going on. It all just worked in harmony for me and made me think to myself, man, maybe I should play more roguelike games. And to this day, I think I've only maybe played Hades 1, and I haven't even finished that yet, for no reason other than just time and everything. But Returnal, man, I'm telling you, again, I went into that game not sure how it was going to go for me and came away from it loving it. It is one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 5 right now. One of the best first-party games to come out of Sony this generation. Even maybe you could even say the past couple generations. It's an excellent, excellent game. And Lovecraftian was the word I was trying to think of. Lovecraftian. I said it in my review when I reviewed that game a couple years ago. But Lovecraftian. Love the Lovecraftian design in Returnal. Sorry I blanked on it. So those are just 5 games that I've played over the years that genuinely surprised me by how much I ended up enjoying them. Like I said, there are others that we'll talk about another day. That'll be another video where we talk about those games. But I just wanted to talk about 5 of them today to have a bit more of a lighter, more fun conversation than we might have on the channel every so often. Usually if we're having a kind of a chat like this, it's more of like maybe an in-depth discussion of some sort, something like that. But I want to just have a bit of a chill conversation, something more fun, more lighthearted. Let me know your thoughts on the games I mentioned today. Did you play any of them? Did they surprise you? And let me know games that also surprised you. Games that you might have played that you went into not knowing what to expect or thinking, hey, I might like it, but you ended up just loving them way more than you ever thought you were going to. Let me know if you have any games that fit that category for you down in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell. That way you know as soon as new videos go live. My name is Tyler. This has been The Comfy Spot, and we'll talk next time. Have a good one.